Les gars, j'espère que vous allez tous bien, on se retrouve pour une nouvelle vidéo. Vous allez voir que c'est une mauvaise nouvelle concernant Tom Aspinall et sa blessure. Donc là, il y a son père qui a pris la parole sur sa chaîne YouTube. Et il revient sur la blessure des deux yeux. C'est pas un œil, c'est les deux yeux. Vous allez voir que ça pue énormément pour les deux yeux, d'accord. Sinon, voilà, la vidéo dure à peu près 20 minutes. Il revient sur Cyril Gann aussi. On sent qu'il a la rage contre Cyril Gann de fou, son daron. Il a la rage de fou, ça se sent. Ça se sent, parce que voilà, il revient plusieurs fois. Bah, vous savez quoi, je vous en dis pas plus, on va regarder la vidéo ensemble. Mais voilà, pour tous ceux qui doutaient encore, et moi aussi, hein, quand j'ai vu... quand en fait il allait voir l'ophtalmo, quand il faisait des bruits, etc., je me suis dit, est-ce qu'il en rajoute pas un peu? Voilà. Donc je sais pas, je sais plus quoi penser, etc. Voilà, en tout cas, son père est revenu. Bah... Il a perdu un œil pour l'instant, voilà. Il est borgne d'un œil, voilà. Je vous en dis pas plus, vous allez voir ce qu'il a sur l'autre œil, etc. Et bref, il va revenir sur le combat, etc. C'est assez intéressant ce qu'il dit. Donc, let's go. Ah ouais, aussi les gars, si je dois... Là, je chuchote, c'est parce qu'à la baraque, ça dort, d'accord. Donc, m'en voulez pas. Bref, let's go.
First of all, Andy, the last time we saw Tom and yourself was Sunday morning in the hospital. Tom said to me that he needs more tests. What has happened since then? It's now Tuesday and we're sat at yours. Obviously, Tom's at home resting. What happened yesterday?
We got an appointment yesterday morning with a friend of ours who is one of the doctors from the UFC, and he got us a private appointment at Cheadle Hospital to see an eye specialist yesterday. He kind of basically did the same as the guy that we saw over there, said it's bad, it's not good, but his eye is a little bit more closed than it was. His right eye still can't see anything. He said it's just grey. And they tested him on words and he just couldn't see anything. His left eye, 50%, he went down about 4 letters and then couldn't see the letters. So one's really, really blurry and one's still not working.
And you explained as well about, obviously, when someone pokes the eye, how the impact that it can have. Just explain that to people listening.
Les gars, pour ceux qui ne le savent pas, Ibra TV, il a failli perdre son œil, hein, par rapport aussi à un coup dans l'œil. Et moi, j'avais un chien, j'avais un malinois, quand je travaillais avec mon malinois. Il a reçu un coup dans l'œil, on l'avait amené chez le véto. Et il n'a pas perdu son œil directement, son œil a commencé à avoir un voile au fur et à mesure des jours. Et je m'en rappelle, mon veto attitré, il n'était pas là. Donc c'était un petit jeune, un jeune veto, quoi, qu'il l'avait ausculté, mon chien. Et je me rappelle, ce mec-là s'était fait engueuler par le veto plusieurs jours après en disant, mais qu'est-ce que t'as foutu en fait? Pourquoi, après le terme des vétos, voilà. En fait, le jeune, il voulait opérer mon chien de l'œil. Et au final, je sais pas, il y a eu une embrouille, etc. Il semblerait qu'il a laissé l'état du chien comme ça, il aurait pu essayer de lui donner des trucs, ou... Bref. Tout ça pour vous dire que mon chien a perdu sa vue au fur et à mesure. Et on voyait un voile blanc, comme de la fumée grise, blanche, qui recouvrait son œil jusqu'à qu'il a perdu son œil totalement, il était borgne, d'accord. Donc faire très attention avec les yeux, et tu peux perdre ton œil sur plusieurs jours, voire plusieurs semaines, d'accord. Ça, il y en a très peu qui le savent, et moi je vous le dis que je l'ai vécu, j'ai l'expérience par rapport à mon chien, d'accord. Donc là, ce que le père de Tom Aspinall dit, potentiellement, faut faire très attention. Il a reçu un coup dans l'œil, il n'a pas eu de déchirure ou je ne sais quoi, il va parler de scanner, là il doit faire un scanner, etc. Mais il peut perdre son œil en plusieurs jours, voire plusieurs semaines, d'accord. Encore une fois, je ne suis pas ophtalmo, mais ce qui est sûr, c'est que je suis sûr de ce que je vous dis, parce qu'encore une fois, je l'ai vécu avec mon chien. Voilà. Donc faire très attention. Hein. Donc là, les gars, si Tom Aspinall perd son œil, potentiellement, ça pourrait être la fin de sa carrière. Hein. Bref, c'était une petite parenthèse, on continue la vidéo, les gars.
The guy described it yesterday. Your eye socket is like this and your eyeball is like this. And you can poke straight in the eyeball and it compresses it and it's like a ball that you flatten on the floor. And when it comes back, it springs back sometimes and can damage things. And you think, that's what I'm, nothing's torn behind the eye. Everything's all right. And he said it was really bad how it looks. And he said, you can't train your eyeball to be stronger. It is what it is. You've protection here and here, but he obviously got no protection because the fingers were straight in. The fight should have been stopped. He couldn't see. It was a foul. he couldn't see, then you can't fight. You know, if he'd have got knocked out with a head kick next, then it would have been worse. I don't know. And then he said, sometimes when your eyes hear like that, it can become displaced and stay there. And they did a few tests on that, and they said it doesn't seem like that. And his vision on the eye that's the best eye, his eye wasn't following properly, so the muscles weren't working strong enough to go this way. This one just wasn't working that good at all. So we've got to have additional tests further this week, and Moyes is sorting the tests out for us, and he's got to have a CT scan, see if the bone's all right, but they think the bone's all right.
It's quite terrifying, really, isn't it?
For me, everything's about his health. It's not about fighting, that's just what he chose to do as a job. And one of the consequences is you can get hurt. But it's a bad consequence if you lose your sight. And especially by a foul. And the guy who committed that, and I'm not getting at Cyril Garn in any way, it happens a lot in MMA. If you commit a foul with an eye poke, the referee just says, don't do it. Nobody's ever lost a fight because of an eye poke. And I'm not saying somebody should win or lose, it doesn't. But the safety of the thing is paramount. And I'm fed up of saying, and especially by a foul. And the guy who committed that, and I'm not getting at Cyril Garn in any way, it happens a lot in MMA. If you commit a foul with an eye poke, the referee just says, don't do it. Nobody's ever lost a fight because of an eye poke. And I'm not saying somebody should win or lose, it doesn't. But the safety of the thing is paramount. And I'm fed up of saying, if it was somebody else's son, they would say what I say. If your son's fighting, you want him to be as safe as you can. And
c'est normal, c'est le daron. Voilà.
And he got poked in the eye, and it's bad, and he could have lost his sight. Still not got his sight in one eye, so we don't know. We're still waiting on. We're waiting. Time is a healer, hopefully.
And you know Tom better than anyone else. How's he been from just
No,
what you can pick up?
he's just in a foul mood. He's not in a happy place. He's not making his home life that happy because he's mad, sad, upset, whatever, that we've spent, you know, he's had 3 or 4 years now with taking a fight in the night, taking a fight on short notice, being a backup fighter, sitting around waiting for John Jones, and then we get a fight, but it's been 15 months, so he's had 3 minutes fight time in however long it's been, and he's just mad that we trained long and hard and lots of cardio to try and do a longer fight, because everybody says Tom can't do that. Well, we'll show that you can do that. And even the week of the fight, go out there, take your time. It was said on that video that you did 5 times. Take your time, enjoy it, have a look, see what you think. We know your fitness is absolutely spot on. See how it goes. And he's mad that he didn't get to show what we think he can do.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling all right. I'm just that he's like that, because I only do it to be with him and enjoy it with him. And we had the best. We had a great week. You know, we sorted out the best place we've ever stayed at, the best people at the place we stayed at. Everything went all right in the week. It didn't, because you told me that some reporters think that because I think that he should box because it's more money, that affected him in the fight. I've never heard as much shit as people saying what I say affects Tom in a fight. I say loads of things to loads of people. People who are around me all the time know that. Boxers are around me all the time. It's just because of the money. And it's the back to, if your son was a fighter, would you sooner fight for a ton of money or not a ton of money? It's a no-brainer, but people still have a narrative of what a fight is. Tom goes and fights and spars every week for most of his life. He never bothers who he fights, when he fights, where he fights. He never gives up in sparring. He's lost one fight where he gave up to a heel hook 10 years ago maybe. And after the fight, he went to the hospital and he had kidney stones and he stayed in for a few nights. And the reason he gave up was he was tired or the heel hook hurt him, but whatever. But he never gives up.
He's never even spoke about that because he doesn't want that to be a thing.
He don't tell anybody that, but that's by the by.
But it's not in his personality, is it?
But it was good for him to lose because he'd not lost.
Yeah.
So he loses the fight, and so what? It's just a fight, it's a sport. A team wins and a team loses, and that's what happens. So There was no problem with that. No animosity, no, it doesn't matter. And then he got disqualified in a fight, and then he got injured in a fight. And then this one, if you can't see in a fight, it's too dangerous to fight. And you see the socials, I don't give a shit what people say or do. It doesn't bother me. They've got opinions and they think they're right, or they've got opinions and they want some attention coming to themselves, or they've got opinions and they want to make a video to make some money. Let them do that if they want to do that. I'm not bothered about any of that. I'm just bothered that my kid's got a job that he likes and he wants to do it, and he's been fouled in a contest. The guy who fouled him, no consequence to him, and now there's a consequence.
Par contre, il semble en colère hein, que Cyril Gann en fait n'ait pas été disqualifié, etc. Parce qu'il revient beaucoup sur ça. Disqualifié, enfin, voilà quoi, qu'il y ait une pénalité ou quoi que ce soit, parce que là il arrête pas de parler de pas de conséquences, etc.
To Tom, and hopefully it'll be all right, but it might not be.
People forget as well that he's got a wife, 3 kids, and
this is just a job that he's doing for this period in time.
Yeah.
And he'll do another job.
But if he'd carried on in that fight and say with one eye,
but he couldn't carry on because he couldn't see.
Exactly, and Cyril Gann then goes and hits him.
Yeah.
And he knocks himself out.
And then in 2 years, Tom Aspinall got knocked out by Cyril Gann, but he got hit in the eye first, and that doesn't get written in the record books. And I'm sure at that minute he didn't give that. That was the least. He just kept saying, "I can't see, I can't see." So me and Stipe were in the corner, and James and Stipe said, "What are we doing?" I said, "I don't know. We've got 5 minutes. Let's see." And then he said, "What will happen?" I said, "I don't know if he'll get paid." And then I said, "Oh, I don't know if he does get paid." And it was a funny situation, you know. We're wondering what happened, and then we asked the referee, and the referee said it'll be a no contest. So I said, if he can't see, he can't fight. As simple as that. And I defy anybody, if they can't see, to go and have a fight. And I defy anybody. I'm a martial artist, and I'm small. Get a big martial artist and get 100 people in a room and say, I'll give you 10 strikes, your leg, I can kick you in your leg or kick you in your stomach, or I can poke you in your eye. And I'll tell you what, nobody will want a poke in the eye.
J'en perds les mots, j'en perds mon latin. Ce qu'il a dit, les gars, il a cassé tout le monde. Voilà. Ce qu'il a dit, il a cassé tout le monde. Tu prends 100 personnes, 100 athlètes de haut niveau, t'as le choix entre un coup dans les yeux ouverts, un low kick ou un coup dans le ventre. Je pense qu'il n'y a personne qui prendra un coup dans les yeux. Les gens, ils vont choisir la jambe ou le ventre. Et celui qui dit les yeux, c'est que c'est un idiot. D'accord? Ou qu'il est pas psychologiquement normal. Et oui, il n'y a personne qui choisira les yeux, les gars. Et ce qu'il dit là, bah, je trouve que c'est très très vrai. Et ça pointe en fait l'hypocrisie, en fait. Là, il veut souligner l'hypocrisie de certains qui disent, ouais, machin, les yeux, c'est rien, moi j'aurais continué, moi je continue.
Because if you've ever had a poke in the eye in a fight, it's not funny. And he couldn't see. Back to that. If you can't see, you can't fight. If you can't see, you're going to get hurt.
Alluding
it's just a fight.
To the consequences in 10 years' time if he then was to be knocked out and her brain
brilliant,
damaged,
everybody's forgot about it then.
And 3 kids that won't have a life.
Can't even think about it.
No. And that's why
you can't see, you can't fight.
That's why the emotions were so high on Sunday morning when obviously we sat down. It was just...
From our side, it was horrendous. Because our main guy, who we all work with and round and are with every day, couldn't see, and you saw the mood he was in. So upset and so grieved. And Cyril, I'm sure, the same, but he fouled. There's a consequence, or should be consequence to fouling, and he's not got a consequence. I'm not saying he should...
Il y a 3 minutes, il a parlé de ça, là, il en reparle. Il a la rage contre Cyril, c'est une dinguerie.
Could have. The UFC have got some rules that what will it take to change those rules? Will it take somebody's eye being poked and falling on the floor? I don't know if that's a thing. I'm sure it's not, but what does it take? And is it the money that, you know, people won't watch the fights because they're not as exciting, because the gloves are not as good? I don't know the answer. The old Pride gloves were different, but something, from my point of view, needs to be done in the sport to stop happening what happened on Saturday night in Tom's fight.
Moi, je suis d'accord avec lui. Alors, mettez les anciens gants, on peut pas tendre les doigts, comme ça c'est mieux. Pour ceux qui disent ouais, mais on peut pas gripper, vous pouvez, c'est des gants exprès, les gars. Au Pride, c'était des gants comme ça. L'UFC, ils les ont déjà implantés. Ils les ont déjà mis. Ça marche, les gars. Pour saisir quelqu'un, t'as pas besoin de tant de talent comme ça, d'accord? Juste ça, ça suffit. Hein.
Can I just...
Et au pire, bah, tout le monde sera logé à la même enseigne. Tout le monde pourra pas tendre sa main. Donc tout le monde sera plus ou moins... Voilà, vous avez capté, quoi.
I googled how many fighters have been disqualified for eye pokes in the history of UFC. Do you know the answer?
No.
None.
So it's a foul that you can do. You know, even on Saturday night, there was a foul where one guy held another guy's gloves so he couldn't move his hand. So the referee took his gloves off, took his hand off his glove. So that's a foul, but that didn't get punished either. They grab the fence. I don't know what the other fouls are. They get hit between the legs and they just go, right, don't do it again. I'll warn you. But if you can do that, I had a friend, an old friend of mine who's a Goju karate specialist, an older guy like me, and he said that was an intentional eye poke. What's intentional? What's accidental? It was definitely an eye poke, and the 4 fingers went towards his eyes, so one of those 4 is going to hit him in one eye somewhere. It wasn't a one finger, it was a...
But it wasn't his first attempt of doing that.
Second attempt in that fight, Tom went for a takedown and got poked in the eye. So if a guy's defending like that, they should be taught not to defend like that.
We found a video of basically from that first round with Gan's sort of finger pokes. Just want you to watch it if you can see, and just sort of explain what's going on.
Oh, il met ses doigts quand même. Hein. Il met ses doigts, les gars. On voit sur les images, là, bon, des fois, il le loupe, mais il a tendance à... Ouais.
2, 3, 4, 5.
So what have you just seen there?
I've just seen that every time his hand comes out, it does this. And it's wrong. Nobody ever punches... I've never seen anybody in the UFC yet, I can't think, who instead of punching somebody, does this. Never seen it. A slap. It's happened, maybe. But so you should do this. So when your hand leaves your side, even if you're blocking, you should learn to block. I know you block like this in Thai boxing. I know, I've done it. But when your hand goes out to hit somebody, your hand should never go out like this. And they say, keep your fingers up. But it's hard. People can't bend their fingers up like this. So, and you've got gloves on, stopping you bending your fingers up. So your fingers are going to go out like this. Your hand should go out like this. It's just my opinion. I don't run the sport, but the sport, when is it going to change it? It's probably never going to change it.
It says there 10 fingers and 4 eye pokes in that first round altogether. What do you do to prepare for that? What do you do going forward when Dana White says the words, he doesn't give a shit?
What does it take to make an eye poke intentional, and is there even a way you could ever prove that?
Who the knows? Who gives a shit?
J'avoue, c'est une dinguerie ce qu'il a dit, l'autre. Dana White, qui s'en soucie en fait des coups dans les yeux? Bah, les combattants. Hein. Les combattants. Lui, les gars, il est multimillionnaire et c'est pas lui qui combat. Donc forcément, il s'en fout s'il y en a un qui crève un œil. Qui se fait crever un œil. Ah, c'est une dinguerie, hein. On voit qu'en fait, c'est que du bétail, hein, les combattants UFC. Francis Ngannou, etc., les gars, il était revenu sur tout ça et tout, machin, maman. Regardez. Il avait pas tort, hein. L'autre, il a failli se crever un œil, Bisping, il a perdu un œil contre, je crois que c'était contre Belfort. Et continue, qui s'en soucie?
The thing is, I go in the gym every day for 2 or 3 hours in the morning and coach fighters, and then I teach jiu-jitsu at night, and I love the sport. And then I go to the fights with Tom, and the process is great, and he has a fight, and that's the sport, and that's how he gets paid, and that's his job. And then after the fight, it goes down a bit, we have a few weeks off, and then we're back in the gym again and doing the same again, and I like that. And that's my thing that I've done with my son since he was 7 or 8 years old, and I enjoy it. The other stuff around it is just noise. And when other people come up and, you know, it's sometimes ex-fighters who, well, I got poked in the eye and I did this. How do you, when somebody pokes you in the eye, how do you know it's a good poke or a bad poke? How do you know it's a significant poke? How do you know if it's deliberate? The doctor yesterday said, Tom showed the video, and the guy, can you show me a bit more? So we went through the video with him, and he said, I've took people's eye out, because people have gone like that, and hit their eye, and it's bust their eye, and they've no eye and they're blind. So it's an issue if the UFC want it to be an issue. There's nothing we can do about it, but this, I don't know if it's the first title fight, but this has highlighted at a high level in the sport that it's dangerous. If they want to do something about it, they should. If they care about people, they should. And it's back to everybody has opinions. Everybody needs money as well. So it's about, you know, I don't have to say what I say or do what I do to report back to shareholders.
En fait, quand on y réfléchit, c'est plutôt stupide de la part de l'UFC. Parce qu'au lieu de bien traiter et de bien s'occuper de ses combattants, l'UFC, ils préfèrent, bah voilà, laisser des trucs comme ça, et Dana White, il s'en fout, les gens foutis, soit qu'ils s'en soucient, des doigts dans les yeux, machin, des trucs. Mais si demain, t'as un énorme combattant qui perd un œil, il peut potentiellement arrêter sa carrière. Donc au final, l'UFC, ils peuvent perdre de l'argent là-dedans. Est-ce que vous captez? Imaginons demain, Tom Aspinall, il perd un œil, ou il a un œil diminué, il top sa carrière par rapport à ça. Bah, les premiers impactés, ça va être l'UFC. Parce que si... Vous captez? Si tu t'occupes bien d'un combattant, tu fais en sorte t'essaies qu'il y ait le moins de blessures possible en mettant des trucs en place, des gants, machin, trucs. Après, c'est des sports de combat, il y a des blessures. Mais t'essayes, quoi, t'essayes. Tu dis pas, bah, je m'en fous, qui s'en soucie, en fait. Vous voyez? Imaginons demain Khamzat Chimaev, superstar. Il est à Topuria, superstar, machin, machin. L'autre, il se fait crever un œil, il stoppe sa carrière. Bah, ils auront le seum, l'UFC, Dana White, il aura le seum. Topuria, là, Vous captez pas ce que je veux dire. Donc c'est plutôt stupide de la part de l'UFC. C'est une dinguerie en fait qu'ils fassent rien. C'est très surprenant quand même.
Money for a company. I do this because it's a sport. I want to do it with my son. I want to spend time with my kids. That's why I do it. The other people who are doing it to report back to shareholders at the highest level because it's part of a company. And then they're doing it, most of the people.
Il veut des problèmes. L'UFC Dana White, ça y est, il parle trop. Ils aiment pas les mecs comme ça, l'UFC et tout, Francis Ngannou, ceux qui parlent un petit peu trop. Là, ils parlent au-dessus, là, ils parlent des actionnaires, machin. Non.
Online are doing it. The analysts, the ex-fighters, the YouTube makers are doing it because they make a video and that video makes them money. So it's about money. And then the people who've got opinions, if they think they're right, then they're entitled to their opinion. But I don't read it and I don't care about it.
Shall we talk about the actual fight? Because obviously a lot of people have said that Tom was losing, Tom didn't want to continue.
We can go from the training first.
Yeah.
We train really hard and loads of cardio for this fight. And on the video that you made, you hear me and Stipe, who was holding pads for Tom all through the training camp, say, go out there, take your time and enjoy the fight. And Tom had gone 5 rounds, stood on his head. That wouldn't have been an issue doing 5 rounds.
He was smiling at one
And
point.
every person who's trained with Tom, ask them, can he do 5 rounds? It's not an issue to do 5 rounds. So this time, because all the superstars on the TV go to Aspinall can't go 5 rounds, what's going to happen when it gets to the 2nd round? What's going to happen when it gets to the 3rd round? You'll see, because he's going to go out there and show you.
And Tom had always said as well, he thinks at least 3 rounds with Cyril.
He wanted to do the rounds.
He never came out once.
We wanted to do the rounds.
Yeah.
Those people who think he can't box, back to my thing saying boxing, that's about money. But go and ask Peter Fury, a renowned world-class trainer. Go and ask Dennis Crowell, Rico's coach, whether Tom Aspinall can box at a good level. He can box.
What do you think then to that first round? Seeing how Tom did, obviously took the hit early on.
Cyril Gann and his coaches, they're good. They had Ngannou, who's world champion, Nasruddin, whatever he's called, who's at the top, and Cyril who's at the top. So the team that he's got obviously know what they're doing. So Cyril knows that Tom blitzes in, and Tom knows that Tom blitzes in. So this time he threw some single kicks, which he doesn't usually do. But the other fighters he's fought, where he's blitzed in and touched them, they've fallen over. As he blitzed in this time, Cyril stuck his hand out or stuck his leg out. And we knew he was going to do that. So do it a few times, kick him a few times. Go for the takedown, up, down. Khabib said the same thing in the dressing room. And the game plan was to keep going, touch him, up, down, move around, and push the pace and see how it goes. That was the game plan for the fight. Not that game plans work all the time, they're just game plans. But go out there and show you've got a lot of skill and enjoy it. Enjoy the fight.
And what was Tom's words to us the day, well, I think it was in the hospital, what did he say about that hit that he took on his face?
Yeah. He said, did you know that you'd got a burst nose? He goes, no, I thought it was sweat. So Tom bursts his nose quite often.
The adrenaline.
Yeah.
La traduction, je sais pas si elle est vraiment bonne. Si en fait il voulait vraiment dire le nez cassé, brisé quoi, ou si il a été touché au nez et ça a saigné, parce que c'est pas la même chose. Tu peux te faire toucher au nez, saigner, mais sans que ce soit cassé. D'accord? Donc là je sais pas si la traduction en française elle a été bonne. D'accord? Donc s'il y a des anglophones, n'hésitez pas à le dire. Qui parlent bien anglais, n'hésitez pas à le dire. Parce qu'un nez cassé, quand on l'a vu aller à l'hôpital, personne n'a regardé son nez, il semble pas cassé. Ok? Donc je ne sais pas. Voilà, je ne sais pas. Pour moi, après moi je suis pas docteur et tout, mais pour moi il n'a pas le nez cassé. Un nez cassé, t'es pris en charge, vous voyez, il y en a, ils portent des trucs, voilà, c'est un nez cassé, c'est voilà.
That Tom's at, that people think that he takes one hit and that he's in deep waters.
You only have to look at his ears to know whether Tom can take a punch.
It's just, that's the world we live in. Mad. People see a
Mais c'est quand même une dinguerie, c'est vrai ce qu'il dit, c'est comme une dinguerie. Hein. L'autre s'est mangé un jab dans le nez, il y en a, ils pensent que ça y est, avec un jab, t'as le nez qui saigne, ça y est, t'en peux plus. C'est des combattants de haut niveau, les gars. Tom Aspinall, c'est un poids lourd, il a dû s'en manger des pralines. Hein. Quand il tourne avec Rico, quand vous voyez, et même. Nous, à notre niveau, hein, même des petits, ils font 60 kilos, ils se remplissent, même les meufs, regarde les combats du UFC de meufs, elles se remplissent de dingue, elles sont là, elles sont gonflées et tout. Elle est tranquille, hein. La douleur, tu l'as, mais en fait, t'as un seuil d'acceptation de la douleur. Et plus tu fais des sports de combat, plus tu acceptes. Enfin, c'est pas plus tu acceptes, plus ton seuil s'élève de douleur. Après, chaque personne est différente, etc. Et c'est pas une patate dans ton pif qui va te faire saigner ton pif, qui va te faire tout stopper, qui va te faire trembler, qui va te faire machin. Tu fais pas de sport de combat dans ces cas-là. Tu vas au tennis, au football, ou je sais pas. Donc oui, là, ceux qui disent ça, je pense que c'est beaucoup qui ont jamais fait de sport de combat, hein, tout simplement.
tiny, minute bit of what happened.
De toute façon, regardez, dans les sports de combat, vous vous tapez. Il y a des coups qui font mal. Vous pensez que les athlètes de haut niveau, ou n'importe quel combattant, ils se mangent des coups, ils ont pas mal. Sous l'adrénaline, des fois, t'as pas mal. Il y a des coups où tu ressens. Tu as mangé un bon middle, un bon low kick, une bonne droite. T'as mal, tu peux être sonné, wesh, on n'est pas des machines. Vous voyez? Donc ceux qui pensent que la douleur, ça fait partie du game. La douleur, ça fait partie du sport. Donc oui, l'histoire du coup dans le pif, c'est tiré par les cheveux. Il devrait avoir mal au nez, mais pas aux yeux. Voilà, bon.
Happens in Tom's life. The commentators who commentate, the analysts who do the YouTube channels, know one fraction of one tiny percentage of Tom Aspinall, but they think they know him. They don't. The people who are in the gym every day will know him quite a lot better, and I know him better than anybody. He's not a giver-upper. That's not in his nature to give anything up.
Has Cyril Gann reached out to him?
No. Unless he didn't tell me yesterday. I've not seen him this morning.
Très bonne question. Très bonne question. Cyril Gann, ça aurait été gentleman quand même qu'il l'appelle pour avoir de ses nouvelles. C'est vrai ou pas, les gars? S'il n'y a pas de haine entre les fighters, etc. Potentiellement, tu sais que t'as blessé, surtout avec un coup bas, entre guillemets, même s'il l'a pas fait exprès, ça reste un coup bas. Je crois que c'est comme ça qu'on dit. Hein. T'aurais pu, voilà, mettre un petit message sur, je sais pas, Insta, lui demander de ses nouvelles, si l'œil va bien, machin, nanana. C'est gentleman, c'est entre deux athlètes de haut niveau. Là, il semblerait qu'il l'a pas fait, c'est vrai que c'est un petit peu surprenant, quoi. Après, s'il y a une animosité entre les deux combattants qui se détestent et tout, bon, à la rigueur, voilà. Et là, ouais, c'est vrai que...
But no, I don't think he has, no. And as Cyril Gann has kind of come out of it. Because Tom ran through a lot of heavyweights, they think Tom Aspinall had a bad fight because for 4 minutes, Cyril Gann jabbed him a few times. So what? That's a fight. That's what happens in a fight. A fight is a fight is a fight. You know, Tom beat Volkov quickly and never got touched. Cyril Gane fought Volkov last and lost, in my opinion. You can't, it's apples and pears. You can't compare one to the other. It's just a fight, and whatever happens in a fight, happens. Just because John Jones beat him in 2 minutes doesn't mean that if Tom doesn't beat him in 2 minutes, is less a fighter than John Jones. But people think that.
That with not hearing from Cyril, how do you see things being left with Tom and Cyril?
It's just sport. Tom's not bothered. He was just fouled, and he's pissed off, sad, upset, whatever the words are, that he didn't get to show how good a fighter he was.
Just to sort of bring it all to a close, more tests and...
Yeah, we left the hospital yesterday. It's now Tuesday morning. We went to the hospital at Monday evening and saw a private guy who said that the tests need to be more conclusive. So Moyes, who's the doctor who used the UFC use, is talked to some people at Bolton who should send Tom some details today with a further appointment for further tests with different machines that they didn't have at the hospital, and to have a CT scan. But he thinks the CT scan will be all right because he didn't touch his bones, it was straight in his eye. It might show some old injuries, who knows, but they're just still bothered about the tests. And basically they just said your eye is if there's any eye doctors watching it, or any eye experts, or some daft people who comment about eyes, you know, if your eye hurts, there's only you know how much it hurts. People say to me about Tom, was he nervous? And I go, I don't know. He told me he was all right. Whether he was nervous or not, I don't know that. When somebody's hurt or somebody dies, somebody looks terribly upset. The other person doesn't look upset, but they might be more upset than them, but they don't cry. I don't know how he is. I hope he's all right. He's my son. That's all I'm bothered about.